Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you all so much for tuning into this live stream interview on MCSC. And I am your host, Niko House. And today I have a Florida House candidate. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm great, Niko. Samson LeBeau-Padnu here, Florida District 87.
Awesome, man. So obviously, as you know, I live in Miami, so I'm in a different part of the world than the rest of you Floridians, where all the crazy stuff happens. No, I'm just kidding. I was joking with Jimmy Dore the other day saying, I was like, you don't claim Illinois when you say you're from Chicago. You say you're from Chicago. It's kind of how I feel about Miami. But
same way about Detroit, where I'm from.
Yeah, exactly. Detroit is not like the rest of Michigan.
It is not.
It is not. So, but you are running for Florida State Senate or for State House?
State House, District 87. Yes.
Okay, so you're right down the street from Tim Canova's district for the U.S. Senate.
Exactly.
And so I'm sure a lot of you probably have a lot of overlap in your policies. So tell the people a little bit about yourself. For one, tell them what your website is so people can donate. And two, let them know where you stand on policy and what you think you'll be able to get done for Florida, and essentially how it could impact the rest of the country, because Florida is a bigger deal than what people think.
All right, so I'm a Green Party candidate running in my district against only a Democrat. The Democrat is, the average corporate Democrat takes money from all the worst people. So first thing I want to do is make sure people understand who their state rep is and what their state rep can do. Because while these people spend all this money to run, they don't ever actually come out here and talk to people. Most people don't know who their state rep is. My policies are pretty straightforward Green policies. I want to abolish private prison. I want to do something about the affordable housing crisis that we have here in South Florida. I want
all over the country.
Exactly. I want to deal with the issue of rising waters, which you guys are on the cutting edge of that, but it's moving up the coast here also. I want to do a Green New Deal. And one important issue that has just raised itself again is the abortion issue. With Kavanaugh on the courts, we're going to see attacks on Roe versus Wade. And if Roe versus Wade is overturned, that doesn't make abortion illegal. That leaves it to the states to decide whether or not abortion will be safe and legal. So I think it's important that you have someone who's going to fight for that, not just someone who's going to vote the right way while they
also advocate publicly.
Exactly, and bring the grassroots into the fight.
Okay, that sounds good, man. So, I mean, you seem to be on the right side of every issue, as I expected, being that you are a Green Party candidate. What are some of the issues that you've dealt with while trying to run under the Green Party banner in Florida? Because it's one thing that I like to discuss, because I think that people have this idea that when you're running under one banner or another, whether it be Green Party, Independent, Democrat, or Republican or Libertarian, there are different challenges depending on your state and your district. What are the primary challenges that you face, and how have you overcome them thus far?
Well, I'm also co-chair of the Green Party of Florida, and we are currently in a rebuilding phase because of the decimation that a lot of the left-wing movements saw with the rise of Obama and the people falling asleep after that. After the 2016 election, we got a lot of influx of new blood, including myself. That's when I became a member of the party. And now we're learning to put those pieces together. So, of course, one of the problems you're going to have with the Green Party is always obscurity, which is something that we're working on here. People think that we're just a party of environmentalists, and they don't understand that we have a full slate of platforms that run across the whole gamut. When I get a chance to put myself in front of people and tell them what my policies are, these are really, in America, as far as voters go, down the middle popular policies. It's just a matter of getting people to get outside of that box of saying, well, I saw a D on the, I saw a D as a candidate, and so I'm just going to go with the D because, Democrat. I mean, I understand that thinking. That was my thinking for a long time. My grandfather was in Congress for 10 years as a Dem, but.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
In Florida?
No, in Michigan. George Crockett, he was a civil rights crusader, the first Black person hired by FDR's administration.
Oh, he was during that revolution that happened up there in Michigan, where a lot of black activists were getting elected to U.S. office.
Absolutely, I know if you know much about the city of Detroit, but Coleman Young, he was one of my grandfather's political allies, and he used to campaign.
Really?
Absolutely.
That's great. Yeah, I learned a lot about that when I went up to New York. Funny enough, speaking at a Green Party rally for Jill Stein in Detroit, and we learned about a lot of those allies up there. And so, well, that's good. I'm glad. So this seems like public service is definitely in your blood, and that you have more activists in you than politician. But hopefully you have the conviction, which I don't doubt, that a politician needs to get the job done. So I'm glad to hear that. So what is the what do you feel is the best way to go about navigating kind of like a tumultuous or Congress that you're going to have to deal with in Florida? How do you feel like you're going to, because obviously you're going to be the only Green Party candidate, right? Or
Correct.
when you'll be the only Green Party person in there. So how will you be able to maybe even levy that to get progressive policies introduced, passed, and then get a mandate from the people to make sure that happens?
I think that's going to be a big part of it, is the fact that when I'm elected, it's going to be a shockwave through the state of Florida for a Green to beat a very well-heeled Democrat who's outracing me 15-1 or something like that. Democrats in these gerrymandered areas are usually able to coast through. So first of all, the Green Party, as you know, is not just an electoral party, though we're also an activist party. So what I think is important is creating transparency between Tallahassee and the people back home. They're a 7-hour drive away, and they do their business, pretty much in secret. And when I went up there to do a little lobbying for an issue that I care about earlier this year, and came back and told my friends what was going on, they were shocked. And these are people who are activists, who are involved in the community. And,
I'm shocked every day I hear. I look at news 24/7. I still get shocked when I hear stuff. I'm like, Tennessee just struck down a resolution to label hate groups terrorist groups. Yeah, so that happened. So I'm not surprised that they're shocked. So what do you? So what do you feel? What do you feel? So you feel like the biggest part, which I would agree with, is really educating the people to let them know what the hell is going on, so they can finally get active or feel the need to get activated and do something about it.
And with that, I mean, even the activist community. The people in the activist community don't know what goes on in that state house, because if you don't go there, they don't. Your rep's not coming back and telling you what he did unless he has some little piece of legislation that he passed on his own. So,
which rarely happens.
I go up there and I see what's going on, and I come back and I tell all these activist groups what's going on, and they get fired up about it. And then the session's over. Legislative session's only for 2 months out of the year. You've got 2 months out of the year that the state reps and state senate get together and do their job. And if you don't have that lot of communication back home to the activist groups, you can't get them to support you in what you need. We saw with the Trump care going down and things like that, that if the people rally and they call, their state houses and things like that, it can make a difference. So it really is a matter of shining a light on what goes on there, and maintaining my existence as an activist once I'm in the state house, so that I'm on the streets, I'm hearing what people's problems are. I'm not just sitting in my office waiting for people to come to me.
You know what? And that's a good point, because I think what oftentimes gets overlooked is the importance of the mandate, which is what you get when you are like a Bernie Sanders or a Jill Stein or AOC or, a Green Party candidate who wins in an area where it was literally the people. There was nothing else that could get you to the position that you'd be in if it wasn't for the people. And they know that. And because of they invested themselves in you. You have a little bit of leverage in that regard. And because you're not beholden to the corporations that are paying all these other Republicans and Democrats, you get to go from city to city all over the state, telling them what their representative is doing on what they're not doing to make their lives better. And in turn, hopefully that could even muster up some more support for Green Party or progressives in those districts as well, to get those things done eventually.
Exactly. And I want to hit on this point really, really hard. One of the reasons you don't know who your state rep is because they don't want you to know, because I really believe my state rep is looking for a Senate seat. And when he runs for that Senate seat, he's going to have to run all those red counties, as well as the very blue district that I live in, that he's supposed to be representing. So he's not going to go on the record and fight for abortion rights. He's not going to go on the record and fight to close private prisons that exist in these red districts that that support the economies. You need someone who's willing to go up there and say, this is what I believe in, and I don't care if it gets me elected again or not. I'm not here to do this for a career. I'm here to do this because it's what needs to be done, and no one else is doing it.
Now, I do, and I'm glad you mentioned that too, because I want to help people understand something about Florida's House specifically. You don't become a representative in Florida to get rich, because they don't make, I think they make less than minimum wage when it's all said and done.
30 grand a year, plus when they're Tallahassee.
Yeah, so if you get per diem, it's a little bit over minimum wage. Yeah, it's not a lot of money. Like, I don't know how else to put it. There are some people who go on with the ambition of achieving more, but most state representatives for Florida just kind of become lifetime representatives. Even though they don't meet often, it's the work that they do in Florida, however, is a lot. And that low salary is what draws the representatives to corporations to fund their ventures. But clearly Sampson swearing off corporate money, he's still working class. And so for him to be working class, yeah, he's a waiter. I'm a part-time waiter. So I understand pretty much everybody who's activist down here is in service industry. That's the only way we get freedom to do what we got to do, right?
Exactly.
But the thing is, Sampson is still swearing off those corporate donors. He's still swearing off that illegitimate money and still going there knowing that he's not going to be making much while he's putting in 110% effort to fight for Floridians and in turn for the rest of the country, because Florida does matter when it comes to electoral politics. And so what's the website that people can go and donate to your campaign?
Samson2018.com. There's no P in that. SAMSON2018.com.
Awesome. The only Sampson in all of history that doesn't have a P in his name. It's easy to remember. SAMSON2018.com. Go donate and support this Green Party candidate. If you're what cities are part of your district, or hell, I guess you could tell everybody in South Florida to go help, because we all down the street.
It basically runs from downtown West Palm Beach to downtown Lake Worth, and has a bunch of smaller cities like Palm Springs, Lake Clark Shores, and things like that.
Okay, good stuff.
Down Dixie Quarter.
All right, you have anything else that you'd like to to deliver to the people as far as your message and even ways that people can get involved, and what do you need right now in order to put your campaign over the top come November 6th or
November 6th? November 6th. Yep. If you're local in West Palm Beach or that area, you could come and help us knock on doors. If you're not, you can do a little phone banking for us. We can send you a script and names. We can always use donations. And there's one last point you made that I want to put an exclamation point on. This job pays $30 grand a year. My opponent generally, when he runs for this office, spends about $500,000. Why does someone spend $500,000? The first time he lost too. So he spent $500,000, lost, and then did it again. Why do you spend $500,000 to get a job that pays $30 grand a year?
Because you have other ambitions.
Exactly.
That's exactly. Or you plan on maintaining the status quo that is literally killing Florida. Just to get a couple of dollars in your pocket. It's ridiculous. It's sad. It really is. It really is upsetting. Because I love Florida, and I'm sure you feel the same way. Absolutely. And I think that a lot of people take the place where they live for granted. I go outside every day, and I'm looking at literally chickens running around and all kinds of lizards and exotic animals. I love walking on the water and seeing how clear it is. And I'm worried that that's not going to be the case for much longer if we don't start doing something about it. So please, if you're in that area, make sure that you vote for Sampson. Go support him. $27 can make a huge difference for a Green Party candidate. They've been grown accustomed to doing a lot with less. So thank you so much for coming on, Sampson. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for taking the time out. I really appreciate it, Niko, and I hope that we'll stay in touch.
Oh yeah, definitely, man.
All right.